Good morning, welcome to 59 Minutes. My name is Levi Kones. We are here at the offices of the Pacific Reality Investment discussing with the CEO, Mr. Farson Gishoi, on issues to do with the common questions that you may have concerning real estate. Would you like to build a house? Are you a person who is paying rent, who has always had a desire to have his or her own home? This show is for you. We are going to try and answer those questions both in his office and also out on the ground to talk about some of the issues that may come up and some of the ways you can be able to attain that dream of becoming a homeowner. So sit back, and for the next 59 minutes, this show is all about real estate. Right, Mr. Farson, thank you for welcoming us to your office. Tell us a bit something about your awards.
Morning viewers, my name is Farson Murithi Ichovi, CEO Pacific Realty Investment, where we deal with construction of affordable housing, that is standard affordable housing, and then again also providing solutions for construction in the construction industry. We have won several awards. Today we won what we call the Real Estate Excellence Award 2020 as the best contractor in low cost housing company. In previous years also we won awards. We provide affordable housing, and then also we do what we call CSR every year. We give back to the community. We have also won several awards on the same as the best giving back company in the estate, whereby we visit orphanage areas. We do repairs in school. Most recently last year we did a total makeover of my former primary school that is in Embu County. So we have also won those awards, and then also we have also won a award on the Kenya Real Estate Expo, whereby we participate each and every year. So we have won very many awards, which also gives us now, the confidence to see that our work is being appreciated there. Yeah.
Why do you emphasize on low cost housing? What informed that decision?
I would say in construction, people used to think it's a very expensive affair, but then low cost is whereby you're able to mitigate the supply of materials, the labor that you use in your construction, let's say in your construction project. So what happens, low cost doesn't mean that you compromise on quality, but we're able to give a product whereby the cost is lower than the normal costing of, let's say, in the building construction. So what we do as a company, we are able to talk to suppliers who give us a good rates for that, so that we can be able to manage that. And then also we are able to do what you call construction processes, whereby we involve different teams in different stages, because you find in a Kenyan way and in a normal setup, when you want to do a construction, you just involve one fundi from foundation to completion of the house. Construction is a wide area whereby you need to involve masons, you need to have carpenters, you need to have interior fittings, you need to have guys who do tiling. Everybody specializes with his or her own tool of trade. So we are able to manage those aspects. And then also we are able to source materials in the right quantities, because as I told you earlier, when you're buying materials, most people buy materials in lorries. They don't buy them in what you call in the quantities. So we are able to mitigate that and give a customer a very friendly budget construction fees. I mean, very low budget construction. I would say budget, so that they can be able to achieve their construction.
Yeah. A lot of people want to own houses. It's their dream or their thought. If you are giving advice to basic beginners, what are the few things you need to get started?
The few things you need to start is, first of all, you need to sit with a professional team. People also fear working with the professional people, thinking that they charge a lot of money. It is that, I would say it is a perception, or the way Kenyans stereotype certain kind of professionals. Where we are today, we have a lot of professional bodies dealing with construction. So the first step is you need to sit down with an architect, give them your dream, let them put it on paper. Once the architect is done, you need to meet a QS. QS is a quantity surveyor. Give him the paperwork, the drawing, and express your budget limitation. So the QS will be able to give you the quantities and the total amount for that project. Then from there, what happens mostly when people meet with an architect, they stop from the architect. An architect cannot give you 100% estimation of a house. The person who can give you the 100% estimation of a house is somebody called a surveyor. So what you need to do is you negotiate the fees. Because you see, if you go to an architect, he or she will tell you that their threshold is 6%, of the total contract sum. So people fear that because if you're doing a contract of like let's say 10 million, you lose 600,000 as fees. But guys are flexible, so you can talk to people. You negotiate downward, and then also now you follow their advice. Another thing you also need to do is first of all you need to secure land. When you're securing land, there are factors that also you need to consider. I can just briefly give you like 2 to 3 things you need to consider. You need to consider where you're buying. Is it a zoned area? Is it somewhere that we are doing what we call a gated community, or it is a multi-dwelling setup? Multi-dwelling setup is whereby people can do an apartment, somebody can do a shanty, they can do a mabati house, somebody can do a mansion, somebody can do it has no rules. So you need to be very careful. You also need to check the amenities around, that is power, connection, water, accessibility, and road network. Another thing is you need to also check on the setup whether that area is zoned maybe for market, where the road will pass in that area, because we have people who have titles, but then the process of getting those titles were not legit. So you find somebody has built a very nice house in an area, and then maybe after 5 years, the government says, you see, this was supposed to be a road reserve, this was supposed to be a public area like land, hospitals and schools. So you need to be very careful when you're buying land. So you need to work also with a real estate guy who is genuine. You do due diligence, and then also when you are taken to see the land, it is very important. Once the seller has shown you the land and everything, you take your time. You go back again on your own. Talk to the neighbors. Ask them questions. They'll give you, they'll give you the genuine status of that land, because you can be shown land somewhere. Either the land is being sold through dubious means, or the land has a court case, what you call like the encumbrances and everything. So you need to do a lot of due diligence. Then once you start the process of land, make sure that you don't pay cash. Go to a lawyer. Let the lawyer advise you to do what you call now the first installment, which should be 10%, and then the other percentage is paid as now you progress with the transfer of land.
Yeah. Now, somebody who is dealing with real estate on a day-to-day basis, and people who come who have no idea where to start, do you give guidance on the same?
Yes, what you do once you walk to this office at Pacific, we sit down with you, we listen to you, and then we're able to advise you. We have a section whereby we have guys who are called the construction project managers. The project managers are trained to guide you through the process of construction, the process of even acquiring a building. Because we do either, we have two arrangements. We can build for you, and we can also sell you a ready house. So what you do, we can take you through all those processes. Most of the guys are not informed in the construction procedures, and that's why you find that misinformation brings to people doing the wrong things. So before we engage you, before we start the construction, we take you through all those processes. We give you advantages or disadvantages, and then we also ensure that we have a site visit to your plot, because there are people in Nairobi who have bought land in swampy areas, in dumping sites without knowing. There are people who have bought land in
nice and dry.
Yes. Kunyesha ni shida. There are people who have bought land where the steepness does not even allow to do a residential house. Maybe you do like 3 levels before you go to the foundation. So what the first process is, once we listen to you and we advise you, we also now go to the site and see whether that project is practical in that area. In the same aspect I said about zoning, like if you want to invest 10 million, and then you bought a land in an area whereby people are doing a peasant buildings. Somebody is doing a shanty, someone is doing a church, somebody is doing those mixed development. We advise you dispose that land, buy in an area that is controlled, and have a good investment. Because also you need the security of your house, you need to get those services within those areas. So we advise you on all those processes.
If assuming the land is not viable, you can always say, yes, this is a better route. Yeah, sure. Let's go this way. Yeah. Okay, that's a very interesting. Now, low cost housing. When people think low cost, most people imagine it's about. It means that now it is substandard. Or itakuwa ni simiti chache ama itakorogwa with different mixtures. What exactly would you say it is?
What I would say for low costing, for you to achieve low cost house, one, you need to have a set of guidelines of the materials that you're going to use. Number two, you need also to involve the professionals, as I said earlier, so that they can be able to guide you through. So low cost doesn't mean it is a bad quality. It doesn't mean that you compromise on the overall design of the house. So what happens for you to achieve that, as I said earlier, is to go for the right source of materials. Because let's say you want to do a project in Iroiro, and you see the Rogo stones comes from that area. So the people are not even informed. You find somebody is procuring stones from another county, rather than knowing that within the same setup of area you have where you can get your materials. Number two is the way you negotiate with the hardwares. because when you go to any shop the Kenyan way, if you don't negotiate, the price that you're going to be given is always higher. So you need to have what you call negotiating power. Number two is time management. If you're doing a house, if a house takes more than 6 months, definitely that house will be very expensive. That does not mean that the house was built to standard, or that does not mean that the house was compromised. But the labor taken to build that house was very expensive. In an average, you're supposed to spend not more than 30% on labor. But you find if you talk to people who have built on their house, they have spent even 70%, 80% on labor. So low cost means that you mitigate all those processes. Another thing is to follow the right rules and procedures within the authorities. You have to register with the NCA. You have to get approval from the county government, because when you start construction without following those procedures, now people now start coming in and like the way corruption thrive. Somebody from the county government will come, he picks like 50,000. Somebody from NEMA will come, pick like 20,000. So you use a lot of money. So for us, we make sure that before we start, everything is set, and then we work within a budget. So budget is very important. Now, another thing which is very important is when you want to start construction, you stick to the plan. The other people don't stick to the plan. So you find somebody did a plan of like 100 square meters. 100 square meters is the size of the house, which is comfortable to do a 3-bedroom house. But along the way, they tell their fundis, can you extend this room? Can you extend this space? So in the midst of extension translates to costing. So if you had budgeted to do a project of 2 million, you end up using 3 to 4 million. So those are some of the things that we mitigate to make it very affordable and quality.
So what was sourcing the right material for the cheapest available option at hand.
Yeah, sure.
Now there are guys who believe that some of the material, especially the interior of the houses, should be sourced from abroad.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I would say when we start the conversation about building, we also talk to a customer to understand their taste and preferences. So we have 3 categories of finishes. There is what we call strand finishes. Strand finishes is a normal house with all the amenities, well done. The structure is not compromising and everything. Then there is what we call semi-executive finishes, whereby you twerk, a few executive things. So what happens before you go to get those materials abroad? You need also to check what is in the market. Because with the current global change, whereby people can import things from China and then they bring them in Kenya, you can get writing from UK and bring it in Kenya. So what happens? It doesn't mean that when you bring them, they are cheaper. Because another thing, when you're buying those things abroad, when they come to the port, that's when you realize you need to pay taxes. You need to have them cleared by a clearing agent. You cannot clear those materials by yourself. So when you check the hassle of going there and whatever could have gotten here, I would say like anybody who is doing like small scale construction, you'd rather buy from the local shops, because all of them they import. Let's say you're doing a large scale construction, then you're able to save because you can bring a lot of materials, and then you save now on the cost of like the profit margin that is this other guys get. Yeah. And then also those countries also they sell also quality depending on the the affordability of the person.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think we can now go on the ground.
Thank you very much. Let's go on the ground and then you're able to see what we do.
We'll take a quick break on that note, and when we come back, we will be on the ground talking about real estate right where the thing happens. Don't go away.